All right, my dogs. Sorry I'm a little late. I need to get myself together here. I was out to Friday's close. I had to head to Pennsylvania for Spooky Nook. But anyway, hopefully everyone's feeling well. Listen, stock market things happen, right? Um, I was in Pennsylvania. Everything was looking great. A lot of things closed near highs. I was actually more worried about my hedges than I was about my longs. And then all of a sudden, I'm on the basketball court and someone's like, Red Dog, did you see Moody's cut the U.S. debt? I'm like, oh, sugar honey iced tea. So I look and I see the spies down, like, $3. I'm like, all right. I'm like, you know what? The S&P cut the debt like 15 years ago. It's not a surprise. We have a spending problem here in the U.S. But, we just had a rally literally for, 4 or 5 weeks into a big resistance. This could definitely be a reason for some people to take profits. So, we'll figure it out. So anyway, my name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com, founder of Red Dog Mindset. Just had a nice workout with my dogs. We did our 20 to 520, and now it's time to measure out some levels. So if you look here on the SPYs, um, this low, all it was on Thursday, we were as low as what? 585.10, and then here's your 8-day. Your 8-day is right there. This is, what's been holding during this entire active sequence. It tested it right here on April 30th, but literally, since this rally started, we have not violated. We have not closed below it. As traders, we look for subtle things to change our approach. So it'll be interesting to see A, if we hold 585, or B, if we hold the 8-day, which is right here. As of right now, the SPYs are down, 675 at 587. It's not the end of the world. We're down 1%. By the way, Europe's not down that much, and Asia's not down that much. I know this is like a US-centric type of problem, but again, we're not crashing. We're not down 3%, 4%. We're down 1.1%. So we'll see what happens here. So 585 is a spot, 581. If we could hold this area today, tomorrow, I would deem that pretty impressive. In a sea of red, what you want to do is you want to see what puts a low in the first 5, 15, 30 minutes. What could you manage? Sometimes if you're like long a position, and you buy a little bit more versus a 5, 15-minute low, maybe you make a little bit there. And then if all of a sudden it feels heavy and the market feels like crap, you get out. And if it doesn't, maybe you just add it to it and things go green and you sell what you bought in the hole, and then you stay with the existing positions and the market takes it in stride. These are the things we're going to figure out. If you go to the Qs have been very strong. This is 515. So let's get this out of the way. This was it looked like a nice bull flag. I'm not going to say it didn't. And then the 8-day right here is closer to 507.80. Right now the Qs are what? The Qs are down 787. So this too is not the end of the world. We're not even, we're a little bit below 513.60. I mean 515.75. So what'll be interesting is, does it reclaim 515.75 or stay below? And if it stays below and things can't rally, then maybe, a move to 507.89 would not be the end of the world either. So we'll see. I got sucked into the IWM, which I hate getting sucked into the IWM, but I did it. I'm in some IWM, and I'm also in some, what's it called? Some options. I did, make some decent money in them, on Friday, and I sold some, but still, looked like it was reclaiming the 200-day. Looked like I needed something to do, or something to add to, and the IWM, it's down $3, and it's not the end of the world either. To be honest, the IWM, this is what, 205.39. We're still above where we were Thursday. So hey, I would say so far in the morning, in stride-ish. So I'm going to give this to, I'll probably give this to maybe buy a little bit versus a level. I did buy a little bit after hours, actually, from Pennsylvania. But anyway, this is 205.39. We'll see if this holds in there a little bit. But I'm actually short SPY premium as a hedge. I'm not long the SPYs or the Qs, which is helpful, but I'm long a little IWM, so we'll figure that out. So then what you want to do is you want to go to the leaders. So to me, Uber, is a very strong name. It's a little extended. I definitely have a bunch of Uber on, a bunch of options. I did sell some into strength. looked like really nice bullish flag. A lot of the guys, Pershing, Tepper, everybody added to it in the in their filings. So we'll see if this could hold 80. What is this? 89.24. Hopefully, I could buy some more Uber, Versa level, and it can come off lows, and it won't kill me. It's not going to kill me anyway. No one kills the dog, but anyway. So this is something that be nice if it could hold 89.24. If it could do that, hey, maybe it's impressive and maybe it continues. So let's look. Where's Uber right now? Uber it's above it. It's only down $2. That's not a big deal. Again, it's right in there. So if it were to break this, to me, the trade changes and I move away. Otherwise, I'll probably buy a little bit and see how it goes. I have Dash on. Dash is down 350. Not the end of the world. Looked as if it was coming out of this, wedge. Looked great. So again, didn't do anything wrong here. It wasn't like it was up 10 days in a row. It was consolidating, looking good. So Dash to me, wasn't irresponsible. So, if you don't do anything irresponsible, you can't be upset. You just got to roll with it. So we'll see. If I go like this, I'd like to see Dash hold 196-ish, 197-ish. Maybe you could buy versus that. That'd be cool. That'd be helpful. If it were to break and close below and give back Friday, then I got to change. But for now, Dash to 198. It's not a big deal. It's only traded 1,700 shares. Whenever you look in the first half an hour in a down tape and Dash doesn't trade a lot of volume, that means institutions are sitting, which I do think they're sitting anyway, and then they stay there. So Dash is something. I did sell my NVIDIA and I did sell my Tesla and I did sell my Palantir last week, and we had a fantastic week in all of them. So I will look to maybe buy some of that back. Actually, NVIDIA's got numbers. So the numbers are earnings are until the 28th. So that's next week. So we have a whole week. So, NVIDIA, if it could hold, look how it's extended from the 8th. If NVIDIA could hold 132-ish, not so bad, right? So again, can these upper flags hold is really the question. So that's 132-ish. I'd like to maybe buy some of that back. Remember, we were all over it here. This is when I had it as two different power plays, made a lot of money in NVIDIA. So I owe it. I don't owe it. We always say, oh, we owe the stock. I don't owe the stock. But it was good. So 132, that might be viable opportunity. Palantir also. I made a lot of money in Palantir. We had it as a beautiful power play. Was buying the first power play I had was here, sold it into strength, bought it again, sold it into strength. I do not have Palantir on myself personally, so I will see if I could buy it. This low here is 125.74. I would say the 8-day, just like everything else. So where is that? If we'll see if this can go red to green. This is 123-ish. Where's Palantir this morning? PLTR down 5. I'll look at Palantir. 120. As long again, will the 8-day hold? If it does, hey, the gold, the Moody's. No, I'm kidding. I'm not Italian. My wife's Italian. I'm Jewish, and I'm going to Israel this summer with Chase for the Maccabi games. We just finished AAU basketball, and now we got to set our sights on Israel. So Chase made the national Maccabi team. Start your kids young daddies. Start them in whatever it is. But anyway, so this is 124-ish. We'll see. Tesla, we did really well with. I don't have any Tesla on. Tesla, you go like this, maybe put this low here. What's this low? This low is 334-ish. So let's get rid of that. I'll look at Tesla, but I'm, days like today, you have some longs trapped. 334-ish. Right. Where's Tesla right now? Tesla is a little bit above it. So all these things are not even at the 8-day, and some of them aren't even at Thursday's lows. So do me a favor. Do not get crazy. Maybe if you're getting crazy, it's because you have too many longs on. I get it. But at this point, This active sequence is still constructive, and there's still some things that look good that could continue, where you don't have to just get out of everything because on TV they're going to be ranting and raving. Um, Bitcoin looks pretty good. The low here is 57.62, right? What is this low here? I'm long Bitcoin. I'm long Mister. I liked it better this weekend when Bitcoin was 107,000. Thinking that, hey, Bitcoin, the narrative is supposed to be like anti-government, anti-currency, the whole 9 yards. So it should be up. We're holding in here, but it's also been a risk asset a lot of the time, during this active sequence. So if you remember, right around here is when Bitcoin kind of changed IBIT from being just a risk asset to a little bit better, a little bit more of a currency hedge, and against rate, we're 5% plus in rates right now, and the whole thing. So anyway, we'll see what happens here. What's Bitcoin doing right now? It's down 65 cents. Not a big deal. I would rather it be up 1%. It would be helping my P&L, but what I want and what other people want, it's two different things. So IBIT is right there. What's Mister doing? It's only down 5. That's not a lot at all. What's MSTU doing? It's down 26 cents. So I have both of these. So it is what it is. I guess what's I also have some UNH on. That's going to be helpful. Up 13. That's a win. Remember, I went long the UNH on what's it called on Thursday. Sold some, held some. I still have UNH calls. Which ones? The 310s. I was thinking maybe there'll be a gap fill. That was a good trade. That'll help my morning. I don't have a lot of things helping my morning, but UNH will help the morning. So that's cool. And then listen, I would kind of get away from the second and third tier names. Go back to what started the rally and what fueled it. And that was, again, there was NVIDIA. It was Palantir. I have some Apple options on. Apple didn't really act well in this rally. I was playing Apple for a potential gap fill, for a potential catch-up play. And as of right now, we'll see, I guess. Apple's not done a whole lot. It's only down 3. There's also some of the names to go to that could be better as like an Apple because they have their buyback. So you don't want to go to names that don't have buyback. So all of a sudden, if there's no sellers, and all of a sudden 10:15 or 10:30, the market has a little less pressure. Some of these type of names lift. So the 2 catch-up trades that I had on for options only was Apple and Amazon, and both aren't great. They're both down what they probably should be down. Apple, the 8-day and everything. This is like, I would say 206. If you long Apple, it should, hopefully it holds 206.75. If you long Amazon, this has been hard. I had a great Amazon trade and I sold most into resistance, but then I started buying it back, and at least I have options on. Risk is premium paid. Where's Amazon right now? Amazon is a little bit below the 8-day. So you see how some of those other ones are so elevated from the 8-day because they were stronger. So these 2 plays I have on as options aren't going to do so great. Let me see what some of my dogs are saying right now at 6:48. So on YouTube and Twitter, you can talk to me during the 6:30 club. Let me tell you this. You're saying RGT, QV. So you're saying quantum names should still be okay. Check out Hood. Well, if Bitcoin holds in there, Hood will be all right. I get it. Bitcoin now outside day to the downside, rejected over 106. We'll see what happens intraday. I might reduce Bitcoin. UNH was great. Let's see, UNH running, gapped up on significant insider buying. That's cool. That'll help my day a little bit. Not a whole lot. UNH Reddit. Reddit sucks. What's it doing this morning? It's down 6. I got hurt in Reddit. You guys want to see when I got hurt in Reddit? Right here. I was long a lot of Reddit into this, and then that happened. That's annoying. So I'm out of Reddit. If you're still in Reddit, I guess, this is your level 102.80. But whenever you have one day matched by another day, it negates it. That day hurts. This day hurt. But guess what? I get out of it, and now it's not hurting me today. All you could do is make the right decision at the right time and move the hell on. You know what I'm saying? Mister, let's see. Mr. kind of broke to the right side of this ascending channel. Um, I guess it depends on what happens really with Bitcoin today. Does Bitcoin show relative strength and try and act special in a sea of red, or not? We'll see. What's this low here from? This is 389. Where's Mr. right now? Mr. Mr.'s above. Yes, it's above it. IBIT still hanging in there. If IBIT goes green, that'd be helpful. Every little bit helps today. In days like today, you want to just know what you want to own and why. Okay, know what you're committed to and you're not committed to. There are some people that are coming in full cash, say like, "Yeah, I sold into strength. I told everyone, okay, that's cool, good for you." There's some people who were upset that they day trade and we've been in a trending market, so swings have been working and they've been having to make money and carve it out. So everything's different, So depending on how you play the market, how you're about. So I talk about the 7 accounts. I know my blood in the street account's back to cash. I went back to cash last week. I am not putting it back to work today. Blood in the street account needs to be like, we need to be down for like 2 weeks. I would put the blood in the street account. Someone's like, where would you put the blood in the street account back to work? Maybe here, maybe 561-ish if that happened. Not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying something like that, into this area. That could be a decent spot. But again, first things first. Today, do we hold 585? Second thing, do we hold the 8-day? I showed you so many names that are still well above the 8-day. So you have Thursday's low and then the 8-day and a lot of those leaders. So we'll see if the dip is bought or not. There is Google. Listen, Google AI Day is tomorrow. Okay, they're having some kind of big AI day. And I know I got hurt in Google on this day and got out of the way. Never went back to it. There are some analysts out there who think that the CEO is going to be really pushing its AI agenda, and they have some new things going on. So that might be something that as a catalyst on Tuesday. So maybe into this weakness, Google is down, only 2%, 162. It was as high as what, 170. If you want to be cute, maybe the 170s are really, really, really cheap. I'm sure, and they're even cheaper than they were on Friday. So what's the slow here? This is 165. Maybe that's something potentially. But anyway, I am definitely down this morning. I'm going to figure out how I could make some money back. I have some one-off plays too, like this ASTS. It's down small. I might add a little bit. This WRD was not friggin'. I thought it would have been better. Didn't work. You had a lot of volume in here. This low is what, 829. I'm giving mine to 770-ish. Maybe it goes sideways and I could add to it. And we'll see. Listen, all you could do is have your levels, watch the price action, look for signals, and maybe we could trade around some of these things, maybe not. I'd love to see Uber hold 89-ish. Could hold 89-ish and go sideways. That'll be a big winish for me. Anyway, let's see what else before hymns. There's a lot of things that are doing just fine. Corv was a monster. Peter, you're right. CRWV. I was talking about this and I didn't play it myself well. 47 was the buy. Sometimes I'm a better chief strategic officer than getting involved in everything. What's it doing this morning? CRWV. It's only down 2. So SPYs are only down 1%. So again, things aren't getting absolutely annihilated. Just, if you're over your skis, get back on your skis. That's all I could say. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I have Siri XMSR today. I got a nice webinar with Adam Mesh. Remember him from back in the day? He became famous as the Average Joe. We're doing that on Wednesday. Memorial Day weekend's coming up, so I think we'll be all right. We'll see. Again, Thursday's low, then the 8-day. Those are the two things that I'm looking at. I'm going to add to some things, try and trade around them, and if they can't rally, whatever I'm not committed to, I'll get rid of, and then I'll figure it out. I was near the highs of my year on Friday. Everyone was feeling good. So let's see how today goes. All right. Good luck.